And I tell you what, there are legends, and then there are Jack Doyle. Jack Doyle just got done feeding his, what do you got, 10 kids now? He's got Pedialyte. That means you were out drinking heavy last night. Were you with McAfee last night?
No.
Did you just fly in on an all-night after being at New York with McAfee?
No, not at all.
All right, let's go through the litany. How's the kidney?
Good. I fully recovered and good to go.
Let me ask you about the kidney injury. Yeah. How do you know you have a kidney injury? Like, what's the symptom of a kidney injury? Peeing blood?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
It is?
That is it, yeah. Yeah, I was kind of unsure what it was for a while. Just kind of it was more like the wind knocked out of me, but still couldn't really ever catch my breath type of thing.
Like when you say you couldn't catch your breath, are you saying like a week later, a day later, an hour later?
It took a while, I guess, like just kind of a shortness of breath. But yeah, then I just started getting in more and more pain in my abdominal region and
peeing blood.
Peeing blood, and something's wrong, so got checked out.
When did you? Wow. Because, I mean, football and basketball guys think they're hurt. Like, LeBron's got to get carted off with a cramp. You got a kidney. I mean, was it the next day? Was it that night?
That night, yeah. That night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
All right, so that's okay.
That's good.
All right, how's the hip?
Good. Coming along great. I feel great. I really do. Was able to come in early to camp with the rookies and quarterbacks and able to do a little bit of work and kind of trying to get my rhythm back and continue to do that starting today. But I feel good. I really do.
What does limited mean in your mind? You know, you and Andrew and those guys are limited. What does that mean in your mind?
Just not getting a full slate of plays that you would maybe normally get.
All right, let me stop you there. But when people come to practice, you're going to be out there.
Yeah, I'll get plays, but not as many as I would normally get. Is usually what limited means. So it doesn't mean I'm slower when doing plays.
Right, that's what's going to be my question.
Yeah, less reps.
Like right now, if there was a game, it was a Super Bowl, biggest game of your life, could you play?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, what the hell?
Yeah, right?
Oh, that's not a bad gig. It's going to be hot out here this weekend. I mean, you're a Pro Bowler? What the hell?
Yeah. I don't know, it's still hard to miss out, that's for sure.
Yeah, let me ask you about that, because I don't think people understand that. People don't understand that you literally go from starter, Pro Bowl, tight end, but when you're hurt, it's literally like you don't even know where you fit, right?
Lowest of lows. It really is. It's tough, and the NFL goes on without you.
Right. It's not supposed to. We're not supposed to stop,
it's
Jack.
It's supposed to stop, right? But no, it goes on. It doesn't care, and there's a game the next week, and it's hard being out, and you try to be involved and help guys that are playing as much as possible. But everyone's got that competitive drive where they want to be out there doing it, or we wouldn't be, at this level. So it's hard to be out, and I'm just happy to be back and playing some football again.
Let's go. I'm assuming it's just simply rest and medicine on a kidney, right?
Yeah, just rest.
The rehab, right?
Yeah.
What'd you do for your hip?
A lot of rehab. Just trying to strengthening the areas around the hip. All the muscles, the hip flexor, the glute, obviously, and just trying to get that stronger and stable and ready to take on a season.
How long did it take? It's because hip's not easy.
Yeah, I'm still working through it. I'm still rehab. Rehab won't stop through the season. I still got to work on getting it stronger through the whole year, and I will. But I'm really happy with how my body feels as a whole. The bright side of missing some time is I kind of got half a year off of the other things getting beaten up. So I feel good. Happy with how I feel, and just kind of taking our time right now and making sure everything's good to go.
Yeah, I don't know you well, but you always appear to me to be the adult in the room. All right, you're a very mature guy, family guy. So I'm going to ask you this: as an NFL player, we were just going through what Pierre Desir said, which is basically like, look, last year number 20 or 32 was up. You guys were picked 32nd by all. Now there's a lot thrown at you. You're the hot team. Desir said something interesting that I'd like to get. You can't listen to it. You can't read it. It's out there. You got to see it. Is it possible to not read it, not see it?
I would say it's not possible. But you see it and it's you shrug it off.
For you, it is.
Yeah. It's like I don't.
Does anybody ever come in? I don't want any names. Does anybody ever come in the locker room and say, "Can you believe what I just on Twitter? Somebody's mad about a tweet said about them."
I really don't hear that. It doesn't.
Right?
I'm sure it gets. It's more people internalize that more so, but I don't. It's not talked about that much, at least from what I've seen or heard.
There's no way I'd be on Twitter or anything if I were you guys.
It makes no sense, to be honest with you. It can be a great thing for information or whatever, but it doesn't make sense to read some of the stuff people put out there that means nothing to what you're doing today.
No,
it means nothing to your life.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
It just puts. Now, for me, I get my information from there. I can start a little thing, draw some in, but that's not what you do.
No.
I mean, not going to help you block, not going to help you catch a ball, not going to help you run a guy over.
No, absolutely not.
But it's so out there, and it's interesting. How did you guys, looking back on it, because sometimes it's interesting always to look back, the team's 1-5. And when you're going through it, you're just grinding every day, right? I mean, you're just, hey, let's win today, let's get better today. Looking back on it, what was the biggest thing to turning that around? Or was there a big thing?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to say. Like, I think it was more of we kept working. We didn't. Sometimes when teams hit 1-5, we've all been a part of bad teams that stuff falls apart, and we had great leaders that kept the team together, and kept practicing, kept playing, and it turned around because we stuck to what we were doing. We didn't let things, fall off the cliff or people start having their own agendas or anything like that. And I think that's why it did turn around.
Do you – now I know we're in camp now, but you guys get together. You have, I'm sure, group texts, things like that. Do you talk about the 1-5 start and we're not letting this happen? Is that like last year was number 32 they put out, and hey, look, we cannot go 1-5 again.
Yeah, I don't think it's been discussed.
No?
It really hasn't. It's more of we try to live in the now, and the right now is coming out here and having a great first day of training camp and the great start to the 2019 season. So, we try to focus on that and like Coach Reich always say, winning every day and getting 1% better. It truly is the focus of the team.
People ask me this all the time, and I know it in basketball, but I don't know it in football because a lot of people watch football practice, and they can't tell whether it's a great practice or a bad practice, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I always used to tell Urban Meyer, like, how do you know? Everybody just kneeling down on their helmet. It was like one play every 20 minutes. Yeah. How does a player, not for yourself, I mean, obviously you make 3 over-the-shoulder catches, but how does a player know for the team this was a good practice, or more important, how does a player know this is a bad practice?
I think it's more of you feel it. It's an atmosphere or environment that you feel the energy, you feel the competitiveness, you feel that, and you can kind of walk off the field and you're like, that felt like a good practice, or that didn't. I mean, it's like you said, it's hard to point to it, and then we always joke, you go back to the film and watch the film, and it's never as good as you thought, and it's never as bad as you thought. So, it's a feel thing for sure.
It's funny. I used to walk out of my office at Bowling Green, and I could tell how good practice was going to be. My office was kind of right off the court, and I didn't have to see I couldn't see a player, but I could hear it.
Yeah.
And if I heard energy and I heard shoes squeaking, and I heard guys, and I'm like, oh, man, I can't wait.
Yeah.
And then if I would go out there and I couldn't hear it, be like, oh, I got to go nuts today.
Yeah. You got to get in.
Because you can hear good teams.
Yeah, you can tell.
Would you explain that? You can hear good teams?
Yeah, like you said, the energy, communication is huge in every sport. Obviously huge in football, and when you see especially on the defensive side of the ball, you see those DBs talking to each other, rotating when we motion and stuff. You can just tell when they're crisp, and even walkthroughs are a great example of that. You can tell with the energy how crisp those are from communication. And like you said, it's a feel thing. It's you just know.
These guys over your left shoulder are with NFL Films, and they have Coach Reich. Jack Doyle, nice enough to sit in here with us for a few minutes. They have Coach Reich mic'd. Ooh. What will they hear? What will surprise somebody? Will they hear a lot of swearing?
No, and I don't think they'll be surprised with what they hear. I think he's very even keel at practice, and doesn't say anything unless something needs to be said. He kind of just lets us practice. And
is he a yeller?
No, not a yeller. I've seen him yell maybe a handful of times. But, you could play, he'll come give you a high five, or, he's quiet, and then he gets in the film room, and that's when he gives more of his, coaching points or things like that. So, which I love. It's great. Just he goes out there and lets you play, and he builds trust that way in guys, and he's the man.
Reason I ask you that is because I like studying coaches, and when I watch Hard Knocks, and I always go by who would I play for? Like, would I have played for him, or would I have respected him, or would I have wanted to work for him? And I swear to God, probably 2 of the last 3 Hard Knocks in my eye play, I'd be like, go kiss my, because people carry themselves different. And as a player, how important is it that you have total trust? Not only trust, but you know that what you're being told is the right way to go about whatever it is you're doing.
Yeah. You don't get that everywhere.
Right.
I'll be honest, and we got it. Like, we really do. And that's what's awesome. Awesome about not only Coach Reich, but this whole staff is the way they communicate with you, the way they teach you. It's done in the proper manner, and it's done but nothing's swept under the rug either. That's what I love about it. It's everything is addressed, and it's addressed in a respectful manner, and that's big for Coach Reich, and I think that's how you get the most out of the players.
Yeah, because not yelling and screaming doesn't mean you're letting stuff go.
No, yeah, correct.
Right.
Yeah. And yelling and screaming can, like you said, you get the and then guys are turning, not listening to what you're saying because of the way you're saying it. So I love the way our whole staff approaches that.
Do you, other than Jack Doyle, last question, I'll let you go. You got practice. Hell, you don't need to be sitting here with me. You have an off season. Is this your off season first off season where you were injured?
Yeah, it was my first off season with the surgery. Yeah.
What's the difference? Like, in a regular off season, would you have been out catching balls? What's the difference in the summer?
Yeah, I guess the difference was mainly I was kind of not stuck here, but I was set to a schedule in Indy.
You were married to the rehab room.
I was, yeah, and I was in there every day, every weekday. I was in there trying to get better so I could practice today.
What would you normally have been doing?
Yeah, you go travel maybe a little bit, and it kind of worked out. We had another kid.
Like your 12th kid.
Yeah,
it's very Catholic of you. Go ahead.
Just a second.
I know.
We're on our way though.
Congratulations.
But we were here, and and my wife Casey, she was taking care of the new baby, and I was taking care of my right hip.
So people, that's last thing. So people understand. Number one, rehab's lonely as hell.
Yeah.
And miserable.
Yeah. You play the mind games.
But it's every day, right?
Yeah. You can't skip. It's weekends. I remember thinking back to it. My wife Casey was 30 weeks pregnant, helping me move my hip around for right out of surgery, pretty much.
Women are tougher than guys.
They are weights. Watching that weight suffer.
Hey, if I'm knocked up at 30 weeks, get yourself going.
go figure it out. I know, but she would do it on a Saturday, and I was doing 2 days of rehab, and she was doing it on Saturday and Sundays for me, which was crazy to think about.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. No, great seeing
nice,
you, Dan.
Brody strong as well.
Always got it on.
I know. That's Jack Doyle. There's your answer, people. You all been asking me, is he dead? Is he alive? Where is he at? He's out here and looks great, man. Thanks, Jack.